My mother and father were seeing each other. My real mother and father.
What was their name?
His name is Billy Norton, and my mother's name is Sheila Craig Jones. They were seeing each other in Arkansas, and my mom and my father didn't get along very well. So my mother took off to Fort Smith, Arkansas, and to get away from my father. And my father wrote her a letter, and he drove all the way up there to pick her up, and he picked her up in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and drove her back to Russellville, Arkansas. And shortly after that, my mother got pregnant with me. My mother wanted to keep me, um, but her mother didn't want a black baby in her family. So her mother called the Highlands Agency to come pick her up, and they picked up my mother and took my mother to Kansas City. And pretty much what they did, they tricked my mother into going to Kansas City. Um, she got to Kansas City, and she ended up staying in Highlands Children's Placement Agency the whole entire time she was pregnant with me. Then when it got time to have me, she wanted to keep me, and she went ahead and had me, and I was a C-section baby. Um, but she ended up having me in the hospital, and she asked them if she could take me to go get my picture made with the Easter Bunny before she signed the papers. And they said yes. So she went and did that, and she signed the papers.
Now, do you know what year it was?
1984.
1984. Okay, proceed.
And so she went ahead and signed the papers, but she thought she had time to come back and try to get me before they put me in foster care.
Okay, now, how do we know that you are telling us the truth?
Because this is what my mother told me.
This is what Sheila Jones told you.
Yes.
Is that her name?
Sheila Craig Jones.
Okay. Okay. Continue.
So they ended up putting me in foster care, and then
Now, what foster care did they put you in? What agency did they put you in?
they didn't put me in the agency. They put me in a home with Sharon and Phil McLeese.
Sharon who now?
Sharon McLeese.
Okay.
And when my mom tried to come back and get me, they told her that they had sent me to a couple had adopted me from Texas. And so my mom, they told her it was too late, that I was gone.
Continue.
So 3 months after being put with Phil and Sharon McLeese.
Okay, now I'm gonna pause there for a minute. Now you said 3 months after you was put there with Phil and Sherry McLeese.
Mhm.
Now, how did you come by that information?
Because I talked to my foster parents, Phil and Sharon McLeese.
And this is what they told you.
Yes.
Okay, proceed.
And so after 3 months, Carlos and Sherry Reese adopted me from the agency.
Now, what was the name of the agency?
Highlands Children Placement Agency.
Now, where was it located at?
Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay, now tell us what you know or what you've been told
About what?
about your adoption.
I was told that my older brother sold a cow to pay for my adoption.
Now, what was his name?
James Reese.
Okay.
And
And how old was he at the time that he sold the cow?
I don't know.
You don't know, okay?
And I was told that there was papers they could have signed, and the agency or whatever would have gave them money to take care of me, but they chose not to sign those papers because they didn't want me to feel like they bought me.
Okay, so they had opportunity to sign some papers to take care of you, but they chose not to because they feel that they paid for you.
They felt like they didn't want me to feel like I had been bought and sold. Like they wanted me to believe that I was their kid and I was important to them and that it wasn't about money.
Okay, proceed.
So I ended up, they came all the way to Kansas City to pick me up, and
And how old were you then?
3 months.
You were 3 months old. Okay.
And I rode on Sherry's lap all the way home from Kansas City
Okay, now, how do you know that you were 3 months old?
because my adopted parents told me that.
Because we can't hear you.
My adopted parents told me that.
Now, who are they?
Carlos and C.Rees.
Okay, proceed. Oh, and what was your name at the time?
I'm not sure.
What name did they give you at the time?
Jessica Carol Reese.
Okay, proceed.
So I was told that I sat on Sherry's lap all the way home because I wouldn't quit crying and screaming.
Now, who was Sherry?
My adopted mom.
Okay.
And I went to live with them in Nixa. Them and their son James Reese. And 2 years after I was adopted, Joel, my younger brother, was adopted.
And what color was he?
He's the same color as me. He's just a little
Biracial. Okay.
he's just a little bit whiter than I am. We lived in the city of Nixa on Spruce Street for until I was 3 years old, and then we moved out